What's up? What's up? Welcome to another edition to the CSON. I'm 130, your host here. My name is Sam Bug Jones on the microphone on the ones and twos and the twos and fews. And before I pass it over to my co-host, we ask you to do this for us. Comment, like, share the video, and also click that notification bell. You continue to be in the loop where we drop a hot video like this. Now, with that being said, I'm gonna pass it on to the players. Hit them up.
Hey now, what up, CSON La Familia? You are the vineyard. We are your voice. Common sense over nonsense. Pull up a chair, man. We definitely got some interesting things to discuss. One more right here. Mr. Magic Number. Tell them who you are.
Mr. 507. What's going on, y'all? Like I said, we are back.
Back like we never left.
That's right,
Already.
man. That's right. Well, harder than an afro, coming back without a pick.
Woo!
Ain't been combed in 5
Ouch!
days.
Ouch!
Exactly.
Owie zowie.
Yeah.
I remember those days.
Yes, yes.
Woo.
So like I said, tonight, our topic is, but y'all tell them what we're going to talk about, man.
The topic tonight is, what God are you serving?
Oh,
Well,
I think that bears repeating. I'm gonna say it again.
say it again, Sam.
What God are you serving?
Woo.
Yes, right.
All right. Now, before we get down with this topic, as you can see, we've been gone for a hot minute and stuff, and a lot of things that have happened, particularly with life. In my case, there's a lot of stuff going on a serious note, and with this show tonight, I want to dedicate this show to my dad.
Yeah.
My dad is he's ill, and I need all the people in the vineyard tonight and all the prayer warriors out there to just say a prayer for him. And matter of fact, before we get started, what we get ready to do, we're gonna do that for him right here in 3, 2, 1. We're gonna bow our heads and have a moment of silence for my dad. Thank you. And I love you, Daddy. This is for you. Okay.
All right.
Yes,
All
sir.
right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, a few weeks ago, there was a viral video came out of Pastor Marvin Sapp. I'm sure everybody knows about it now, about what he did at the conference that was shot months ago that just really came to surface and it went viral. And it's about him saying that, close the doors. Close the door. I thought he was Teddy Pendergrass when I first heard about the video and everything, but it was actually him. And he got into a lot of it was very controversial, and he got into a lot of trouble about it.
Man.
And I just say it like this: when he said this part here, that really made me look at Marvin Sapp, with a real side eye. You know what I'm saying? He said it costs to be up here.
Lock the doors.
So you saying that it costs salvation is costing nowadays? It just depends where you go. So with that being said, I have more to say about it, but right now I'm gonna pass it on to the players and ask them what they think.
What I think in 4 words, that's a bad look. A very, very bad look.
Make you want to shout, don't it?
Mm-hmm.
See, when you're trying to direct people in the direction, people, potential non-believers, potential people that have lost their way, potential lost lambs, so to speak, to the direction of the guiding light as the world turns.
That's right.
The guiding light as the world turns, man, because we only got one life to live.
That's
Right on.
Not to use all these soap opera preferences. Well, yeah, to do that intentionally.
Mm-hmm.
But when doing that, you might not want to look like, a pricey pimp in the pulpit.
Yeah.
And, before then, I had much respect for Brother Marvin Sapp. This song never would have made it. That's one of those gospel ballads.
Well, it's a remake now called Never Should Have Paid It.
Never should have paid it, huh?
That's the remake on it now. Yeah. That's right.
Never should have paid it.
That's true though, man. That's how people felt when they was in that church. They was shouting. Let me out of here, bro.
Yeah.
He said, close the doors.
Mm-hmm.
And 40,000, that would have been anybody's scream, man.
Yeah.
It would have been anybody's shout.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But hey, man, I mean, what you expect to happen, though?
Yeah.
You know, people go to church, man, for prayer and relief, man, for help and guidance.
Yeah.
Not to get told, not to get put down and kicked in the face about what it costs and all this stuff, man.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows, man, a lot of preachers are pimps anyway, man. They players, they pimping, man, they business dudes.
Mm-hmm.
They get con men.
Yeah.
No hustlers, man, scare you to death thinking, well, God said this. Let me tell you something, man. I want to hear God tell me that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of preachers, man, some people go to church, man, they take their money. You know you need to do the week, but they con you out of giving the things the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
The man upstairs know what you're going through.
Yeah.
He know you need this.
Mm-hmm.
So how is this man gonna tell you what you need to do?
Yeah.
He puts it right in his pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Go try to get it back from him when you need it and see what happens to you.
Uh-huh.
I had a dude tell me one time he went to a certain church. I'm not gonna say any names.
Mm-hmm.
Went to a mega church.
Mm-hmm.
Wanted to talk to the head man himself. Say the dude pushed him right here. Oh, you can't go that far, man. He said he almost hit that dude. Said if it wasn't for his wife and his kid with him, he would have knocked this man out.
Wow.
But he said he was going to the church every Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And needed to talk to him because he had a problem with somebody. He was going to do something dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
And the dude, right there, I'll get you reverend, whatever. He said, I want to talk to. He said after that, he didn't go back to their church.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The same church was told, oh, y'all get up, a certain football player got to sit here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't surprised when I saw the dude talking about $40,000,
Mm-hmm.
$40,000, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't
Football
surprise
player,
me.
huh?
Yeah.
So, in other words, they put certain members above other members.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. When people going around, that's what, man, that's what.
So it wasn't based on struggle. In his case, it was based on status.
Yes.
Right. Right.
That's the dang problem.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, man.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna go and put the paint where it ain't. When it comes to this, I'm gonna go a little Bible tonight, so bear with me, y'all. When it comes to tithes and offering, the Bible said to give 10% of your gross and earnings, right? So therefore, what I have here is two things. I have a dollar bill and I have a dime. So therefore, this dollar represent my gross. This dime represents my tithes. So I said all that to say is, no matter how much money that you earn and stuff like that, you know, it all started with $1. So you saying you all high and mighty, but you can't give God a dime? And then a lot of people get it twisted that when you give money, they really think they're giving it to the pastor. Some people do. But when you're thinking about God, in a sense, it's not about ain't about your money. It's about your discipline. It's about how consistent that you are in your terms of giving. And you know, some people, you know, when it comes to people who are takers, you have to put a limit on the giving because takers don't have a limit on taking. So therefore, when you really think about it, it really comes down to what God are you serving?
Mm-hmm.
Are you serving a God that's that can move mountains? Are you serving a God that love you before you even knew who you are, know yourself, know all your faults, know everything about you, all your secrets, all your dirt?
That's right.
Or are you serving a God who's a Burger King God when you like having things done your way?
Oh.
So it depends what kind of God you're serving, because you know that's many idols of God. You know, some people love their house, some people love their church, some people love their car, some people love their job, but they put that over God, and God is a jealous God, and that's something you do not want to do. You don't want to make God angry because his wrath is vengeance.
Yeah.
His wrath is like you wouldn't believe, because I'm gonna say it at the end of the day, you know, ain't no clapback like a God clapback.
Oh yeah, man, and I'm a true believer of that, and I've witnessed it from time to time. Just like God's love is the definition of perfect love, His wrath is the sum of all fears.
Mm-hmm.
Point blank. Period.
Mm-hmm.
It's the sum of all fears, and as a preacher or a pastor that supposedly has been anointed by the good Lord to spread his word around.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that if it was me, or at least I hope if it was me, I would take with the utmost seriousness because of the responsibility and because of the potential consequences.
Mm-hmm.
Because even people that haven't been quote unquote anointed, everybody's here for a purpose in life. And if you come into this thing with your purpose, especially if you've been anointed, and you come with it to not help people and enrich people, but to use people,
Mm-hmm.
use people for gratification,
Mm-hmm.
use people to lace your pockets,
Mm-hmm.
then people on this side, on the worldly side, is not the only ones that you're going to have to answer to.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a game that's a game with the Lord that I would not play, because that's a game that I'm guaranteed to lose each and every single time.
Mm-hmm.
But see, and like I said before in the beginning, it's a bad look, because like the example he was giving, I'll give you a perfect example that actually happened. Can't make this stuff up. Me and my wife were looking for a more permanent church home. We looked from church to church, and there was one not far from where we stay at. Went to this church. Preacher was preaching pretty good and all that, but we wasn't looking like how well he preached. But anyway, get right down to the business. When it came to the offering time, okay, give an example. He passed the plate around. Okay, it's time for pass around for the tithes and offerings. So we passed the plate around, giving what we can, tithes and offerings. All right, so we pass it around like, okay, you're ready. Hear what the choir gonna sing. This time, all right, we're gonna pass the plate around again. This time, it's going to be for the love offering. So, passing around again. Supposed to pull out more money. Giving it in for the love offering. All right. Got that going. Okay. They're going to sing a song. We're going to pass the plate down one more time, man. We're going to get this for the building fund. So, it's like, dang, that's a lot. So, we're doing it for the building fund and stuff. And everything. So now, think, okay. Then they said, oh, before the service in, we're gonna pass it around one more time. Yeah, for the pastor and his wife. So, it goes without saying. Me and my wife never went back to this church no more.
I see why.
Oh, they're gonna know.
Yeah. Oh man.
Ain't been back to that church in a while, but all them offerings and stuff, that church probably look like Taj Mahal right about now. Just my opinion.
Oh my gosh, Taj.
But anyway, man, what's your take, brother Magic Number?
Man, look here, bro. I mean,
can't make it up. This really happened, bro.
I'm lost for words, bro. I really am. Pastor, he was bold with it too.
Yeah.
For the pastor and his wife. Wow. That is crazy, man. I mean, you know what, man? You know what? Okay. One night I was out. Boy, I tell you what, man. That's why I said, when a lot of these preachers, man, they just for the game and just taking people's money, man. Like you said, that church should be looking like, right, the Taj Mahal right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, like one night, man, I was out years ago. I was at a strip club.
You?
Yeah, I was saying?
Yeah,
whatever, man. Anyway. All right, so look here.
Guilty.
Yeah, anyway. Yeah, I'm gonna say no, you didn't. Anyway.
Hey, we all did it, bro.
We all did.
That's right, we have fun too, little big guy. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. That's right. That's exactly what was going on. A lot of in that too. But anyway, yeah, but like I said, man, we pretty much like I said, it was fun. We was having a good time one night.
Right.
One of my buddies tapped me, said, man, there go Deacon Roberts over there. It's like, what? Who is that? Deacon Roberts?
Mm-hmm.
Some dude was a deacon in his church at a strip club.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
That's 2:15 a.m. in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta be at church about maybe 7, 8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And he out at the strip club, giving away the church's money.
Wow.
I'm up there like, wow. So that's Deacon Roberts over there, man. Getting the lap dance. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's right, man.
Yeah.
Be careful of what you see out in the fronts. See, it's because it look good in the front don't mean it look good on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying? So be careful.
Yeah.
Be careful of what words come out.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes them words ain't to the song that you want to hear.
Yeah.
That's get you to buy the album.
Mm-hmm.
Once you buy the album, man, and you ain't gonna like it.
Yeah.
That one song is what got you to buy the album.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people do that in the church house. Tell you what you want to hear, man, this and that, this and that. Oh, we gonna do this, but this place pass off and around. Think you finna do a miracle.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing you know, man, they pulling up on a nice ass ride, nice ass custom made $1,000, $1,200 suits. You know what I'm saying? Wife wearing a nice jewelry, and you all struggling through the week.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that.
Yeah.
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 You gotta get up and go to work, man. Here you are struggling every week, and these people taking your money.
Mm-hmm.
You got to talk about church and all this and that.
Yeah.
Most of your biggest folks, okay,
Get real,
man.
bro.
A lot of people in church right now ain't no good. Okay, let's just be for real. They go to church that one day with them the same ones for the rest of the 6 days out of the week. You can't trust them. You can't even close your eyes for 1 minute around them, because your pocket's gonna be empty and whatever you got on, his clothes gonna be gone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling the biggest hypocrites in the world.
Yeah.
Claim to be all church going and, oh girl, we love you, we love you. Why? You know, man, come on, man.
Yeah.
They the fakest of them all.
Yeah.
You can have church. We can have church right here, right now.
Right now, we can have a Bible study
Exactly.
Right now. Matter of fact, when you think about this money here, when you look at the back of this money, it says, "In God we trust." Okay, that's the only one that will always have your back when nobody else does. He's the only one that we can be totally transparent with ourselves. Because he knows us. He knows us. Now, getting back to Pastor Sapp. He's a man of God, but at the same time, he's still a man. And what he did was he made a mistake, because that was not his place in doing what he did. That was not his place. That was a conference. If anything was going to go down in reference to the collection of that, the people at that conference was responsible for that, not the guest speaker. And he took it upon himself to do what he did. And then, truth be told, when you really think about it, a lot of people who had all these comments about Pastor Sapp and stuff like that, 3/3, I guarantee you, 3/3 don't even step themselves in the church house. You know what I'm saying? And they use what he did with all these comments and all these memes and all this stuff they was talking about Pastor Sapp. And then a couple of days later, he got on the Ricky Smiley show and saying, what he did was not intentional. However, some people will take something like that and run with it. And don't get it twisted. We're not here making a mockery of church. That's not what we doing. That's not what we saying. We just talking about the behavior of some pork chop pimps, pork chop preachers. Let's just call a spade a spade. Yep. They just keep it a buck. In the between time, we just gonna keep it real. So at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, Pastor Sapp, said what he said on the Ricky Smiley show, that a couple of days after that, all of a sudden people calling his church, cussing him out, and all of a sudden he getting all these death threats.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, he made a mistake, but is the mistake so bad that, you threatening this man's life? Come on, he is a man of God, but he's still a man. He got feelings and emotions and all that kind of stuff. But, we just want to, let you know about, stuff like this happens in the church.
Yeah.
And everybody that's walking in the church is not saved. You got all kind of spirits walking up in there. It's all about redemption. It's all about, no matter how bad you went to the left, you can always make a U-turn to make it right.
Yeah. And see, there are people out there now that, they go to church every Sunday, but if your Christianity is carnal, you still might be headed to hell in a handbasket. Just being realistic about that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that is putting too much emphasis and too much glory onto the follower. And some of these preachers, and like I said, it's not everyone. I've witnessed preachers that were definitely sent by the good Lord and stuff, and they weren't perfect, but they kept their heads, on the straight and narrow.
Mm-hmm.
And were good, and were great examples not only to their church, but to the whole community.
Mm-hmm.
But we're here to, address the exceptions to that rule.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes on and on throughout history. I mean, and they talked about it in the Bible too, as far as representation of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
The very first horseman seemed like that was a domino effect for the other ones. But the very first one before war, before pestilence, before death was the counterfeit Christ,
Mm-hmm.
the false prophet.
Yes.
And the false prophet is like they led the way, and it was a domino effect that led to these other things.
Mm-hmm.
So it has to be addressed, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
It just simply does.
Yeah.
From the big and small, from like there was a church back in the day close to Carrollton, Texas. It was called World of Faith, and big old church. I remember passing by when I was a lot younger, and the guy there, his name was big old televangelist Robert Tilton. Yeah, Reverend Bob.
Yeah.
Man,
I remember him.
yeah. Just when I was a kid, man, I thought he looked like Dracula. I'm keep it real. He looked just like Dracula to me.
Mm-hmm.
Sucking blood out.
Maybe that was a sixth sense that I didn't know about.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he was robbing folks blind.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he ever started on the straight and narrow, but that wasn't how it ended.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord noticed that, and I think that's why his empire crumbled, because it was a huge empire once upon a time, y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah, but shows like Nightline and Primetime and all that, they exposed it.
Yeah.
One of the examples was, and he got busted. He was telling folks to send in, prayers and wishes of prayer and the notes and stuff, and an offering, for that prayer. And they found, with the money missing, all these envelopes of prayers that were unread, all in the back of Word of Faith in the trash dumpster. But the money was missing. And they showed an example, man, of they called this one old lady and stuff, said, hey, just keep sending the money those requests in. We heard your thing about your husband, and we're doing our special prayer for him and all that, man. But just keep sending the money and the prayers in, and your husband's gonna be all right. How dare you?
Mm-hmm.
My husband's been dead for 3 years.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
So
Yeah.
that's how that bridge came tumbling down.
Uh-huh.
Let me tell you something, man. I really believe this, man. I think it's just all about good, man. I think a lot of people, man, people who don't go to church every Sunday or whatever, but they got bigger hearts and bigger souls than the people that do go every Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
They believe in God and everything else. And
Yeah.
they do what's right they do right by people.
Mm-hmm.
People are probably the best you can count on them at all times.
Yeah.
And everything else, man. So, so what are we talking about here, man? We talking about just, people, man, who playing around, think it's no joke.
Mm-hmm.
They're going around talking about, they in church conning folks and using the man upstairs name.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to be the outcome of that?
Right.
But then you got folks, like I said, man, who believe in God. They just do right by people.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't go to church probably because, hey, man, they don't know tell you, they don't care nothing about me.
Mm-hmm.
Let me actually go into church and try to get redemption.
Yeah.
Preacher probably gonna talk about you and turn you back.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard people do that.
Mm-hmm.
Go to church like one. I knew a guy. He couldn't put too much money in collection plate. They told him to worry about coming back. They actually told him that.
Wow.
Yes.
Mm.
You wonder why folks say, "Hey, well, nah, man, I ain't going over there."
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, take what you got.
Yeah.
Pull up in a brand new car and all that kind of stuff, man. Look, man, it's all about keep believing and having the faith.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. To,
I got a question for both of y'all.
Okay.
Okay, now, as far as the church and stuff, and like I said, man, when it's done right, man, I got absolute love for the church. My grandma, maternal grandma, ever since she taught me the Lord's Prayer, it changed my life. And I've been able to build up on that and stuff, and it led me to a whole nother direction.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, man, excluding that, man, just my question to both of y'all. I've heard a saying, and that saying says that the most racist hour of the week, or most racist 2 hours, is Sunday morning service between the different churches.
Mm-hmm.
You know, white church versus black church.
Mm-hmm.
You think there's something to that?
I just think it's about preference more than anything, because I've been to both.
Right.
I've been to both, and I learned from both. But at the end of the day, you know, when, my relationship with God is my relationship with God. You know what I'm saying? Just like your relationship with God is different, and just like Mr. 507 relationship with God is different.
Absolutely.
See, everybody ain't got to be a holy roller, anybody got to be a Bible scholar, a theologian to know God for themselves. You know what I'm saying? That's what's the wonderful thing about God. God will come to your level, and He will relate to you on your level.
And he's the only one that has that ability as well.
Absolutely.
So why do we have people out here acting like you supposed to praise him like I'm praising him? And if you don't, there's a problem.
Yeah.
Now I gotta sit up for another hour. Well, I don't have to listen to you. But now you're finna try to act like I'm just this person that need all this saving, and oh my goodness, child coming up.
You know what that mess is, Magic?
Oh,
You
know
know what
that.
that mess is, Magic Number?
What's that?
Man, it is ignorance trying to disguise it, ignorance and imperfection trying to disguise itself as perfection.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, the holier than thou.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, the sanctified.
Mm.
Yeah.
But you look back, trace back their history if you could.
Mm-hmm.
Boy.
Well,
Like the Prince song, Scandalous.
Yeah.
You heard about the preacher in Memphis? Was that? Well, I don't know if that was his wife or his girlfriend shot him at the bar. Because he was having something going on with the woman. He was a preacher.
Right.
Hanging out on the bar. And then he was cheating on his wife or something. They had an argument.
Mm-hmm.
He was breaking it off with her.
Yeah.
And she shot him.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm
All the preacher who was messing around with his one of his congregation's wife. And the dude went to church and shot the preacher.
Mm-hmm.
What was that mess in, side note, what was that mess in Africa, man? Was
What
that a
happened
preacher or was that a, I want to say that was a preacher, man, the one that was making all them sex videos with them dudes' wives.
I don't know where it was
I
at.
don't know where it was at.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I had to look that up. It seemed like
Yeah.
it was something like that.
And the problem is nowadays, you know, the reason why a lot of folks don't go to the church, and then that's another thing. Let's just correct this right here, right now. There's no such thing as going to church, because the church is already in you.
Yeah.
You go into a building, but the church is in you already.
When you accept Christ as your Savior,
Uh-huh.
personal Savior.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter where you actually go into a building, or you can just get the word of God right in your living room.
Mm-hmm.
So, and a lot of things that bother me about the church nowadays is people got all these opinions about church, and they don't even step into church, not just to hear the word of God. They just want to use it as clickbait.
Yeah.
They use all this stuff as clickbait. So, you know, when somebody do something like what Pastor Sapp did, they want to use that 30-second clip. He was preaching for like over 2 hours. They would use a 30-second clip and then post it on their channel, and they're going to see how many likes they got. I mean, how many followers they're getting based on a 30-second clip. See, God's word, God do not like people. He don't like, his word would not be mocked.
Yes.
You can't be like God. You can't. You know, Satan tried that. He ended up being cast out of heaven, because why? He tried to be like God.
Yep.
You can't do it.
Can't do it.
You can't do it. So at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, you know, what God are you serving? Are you serving? You know, you want to be like God. In other words, if you want what I got, you have to take what I took. When it comes down to it, you know, do you see? You know, carry yourself like God would. You know, carry. You know, like Jesus carried himself. You know, he loved everybody. He loved everybody, and didn't do nothing to nobody. Yeah, he get hung on the cross, but he did it for our benefit. He didn't have to be on that cross. I know Easter coming up pretty soon, but at the end of the day, you're going to see all these Easter plays and stuff like that of the crucifixion of Christ. But at the end of the day, you know, once you see the crucifixion, you see him rising 3 days later. Now that's just an example of you can be at the bottom and you can come right back to the top. So before we get up out of here, I just want to say that when it comes to the Word of God, you know, you want to carry yourself like a Christian, and then you got some folks who just want to be a Christian when the mood suits them.
Oh yes,
Absolutely.
well, gotta look good. So, sort of peak. You know what I'm saying? It's all about looking good, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it's about. Looking good, man, and looking good and talking good.
Yeah.
It don't mean nothing that you saying.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? I can't come to you for help because you're gonna go behind my back and talk about me.
Yeah.
So, like I said, man, as long as a person believes in God, man, and pray and you know, and just keep doing right, man, they're gonna be all right, man.
Mm-hmm.
Can nobody take that away from you?
Yeah.
You know, nobody can, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, got people who go to, like you said, man. You know, we tell them to get these religions, man, and everything else, man. But we don't understand God for us all, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But the religion is going. People go out here trying to put a religion like, oh, this is how it should be.
Yeah.
You can't change nothing, man.
You can't.
It's already. Come on, man.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
It's already ordained. It's already designed, you know, for it to turn out the way we're gonna turn out.
Exactly.
It's all in God's design. So at the end of the day, you know, when it comes down to, you know, what God are you serving?
Yeah.
You have to are you being God-like,
Mm-hmm.
or you just want to be like God? You know what I'm saying? You know, you just have to know what kind of person you want to be. Do you want to be like people that when you leave this world, every day that we on this earth, we building our eulogy.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So when God called our number, He gonna call our number one day. He gonna call our number. How you want to be remembered? What is your legacy is going to be? You know what I'm saying? Are you gonna be the kind of person that people love to talk about? Or you're gonna be the kind of person that, you know, nobody can't stand to be around you. You know, they rather see you go than see you come. You know what I'm saying? So, and then that's why I always been the kind of person that, you know, it's always good to give people their flowers so they can smell them. They can't smell them in their casket. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, you know, the best time to cry is now. Because where they going, ain't gonna be no more tears. There ain't gonna be no more tears. So therefore, you know, you have to be who God called you to be. If you're a good person, continue to be a good person, man. Mm-hmm. And be who God called you to be. Because you are an original. You know what I'm saying? Nobody ain't like you. Nobody ain't got your fingerprint. Nobody ain't got your eyesight. Nobody ain't got how many hairs God can count on your head and stuff like that. I know I'm bald and stuff, but God still can count on the hairs, how many hairs I got. Yep. But at the end of the day, God is just God. And you know, everybody got to have a relationship with God for themselves. And I'm going to close this out, and I'm going to pass it on to the players and give them their final thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, just piggybacking on what he said. We all have a life, and on every one of our headstones, it's the year we were born. On the other side, the year that we departed this life, we transition onto eternity.
Mm-hmm.
The question we're trying to ask is, who are you worshiping? How are you living that dash that's in between? Yeah. That's in between the birth year and the year that you depart.
Mm-hmm.
We all got to make the most of it. Don't just be alive. Actually live while you're in this life, whatever it may be. If it's, you know, hopefully it's donating, giving to somebody or anything like that. But ask yourself that sometime. When you're sitting there, just, you know, not doing anything and just in deep thought, ask yourself, how am I living this existence?
Yes.
Is this hashtag or dash between when I came here and when I leave? Will it build a legacy? Is it building a legacy?
No.
And also, you just got to be wary of not only the wrath of God, but also be careful not to try and watch for the ones and don't be the one to try to play God.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're dealing with a being that is so great that you can't, when you ask who he is, it's not, I am this, I am this, I am that. They say, I am.
Mm-hmm.
That's monumental.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond words.
Mm-hmm.
And to try and mimic that could have dire consequences. And I did use the word dire because of what scientists just did, try and bring back the dire wolf. Y'all saw that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. Now,
When was I missed that one.
it happened earlier this week. And this is a breed of wolf that hadn't been around in over 12,000 years. Yeah, but suddenly they brought it back. And some scientists are already warned they don't know this will be a big wolf. They don't know how aggressive it may be when it's an adult. And they said by 2028 they're gonna try and bring back the woolly mammoth as well.
Oh boy.
Why?
Now we don't know
Why?
if you bring that back. I mean, and bring it back in a world that's suffering from global warming, and you're gonna try and bring back a woolly mammoth. Doesn't sound like the smartest thing, y'all.
Yeah.
Just my opinion.
I don't think.
And who's to say, man? Shoot, we just got through COVID. Who's to say there ain't something that they carrying called mammoth pox if you bring them jokers back?
Mm-hmm.
Just some things to think about.
Mm-hmm.
—
But
mammoth pox.
don't play God and stuff. That's the bottom line.
Yes, please do not. No, you don't mess around, man. I'm telling you, you don't mess around with that, man. But some people, they all right, man. Keep putting your foot in. Keep trying to stop the car with no brakes. Yeah, keep on. So you know how it go down, man.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Well, anyway.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, well, like I said, we're about to close out here. Like I said, and I'm Mr. 507.
I'm Ball Smith.
And I'm Dave Jones.
On behalf of CSON, holla and good night.
Deuces.
Peace.
Peace.